Okay, let's unpack this. You know those moments in TV where the credits roll, the screen goes black, and you just kind of have to let out this huge sigh?
Hmm.
You just sit there in the dark for a second and go, wow, that was episode 2 for me.
Yeah.
So today we are doing a deep dive into the second installment of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And if I had to use just one word for it, I mean, epic.
It's a big word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Epic. Usually save that for, I don't know, huge CGI battles or dragons.
Well, right, burning down a city.
But here, I think it's completely warranted for something much, much quieter.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting is how it plays with your expectations.
Oh, completely.
We all know the rhythm of a show, right? You get the pilot, that's the big hook. Episode 2 is... It's usually the slowdown. It's the exposition dump. The breath after the sprint.
Exactly. It's the Eat Your Vegetables episode where they have to explain who everyone is and what's going on.
Precisely. But this didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like a bridge to get somewhere else. It felt like a legendary installment all on its own.
I think it's better than the premiere. Is that hot take?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm leaning that way myself. It surpasses the first one in just pure storytelling efficiency. It does more with less.
Oh, I am right there with you. And it starts from the very first second. The way this episode opens, it triggered something in my brain. It's got that specific DNA. You know what I'm talking about?
The Game of Thrones DNA.
Yes.
And it's such a specific flavor.
Yeah.
It's not just seeing a shield or a familiar sigil. It's a production thing. It's the sound.
It's the unexpectedness. You're sitting there, you're maybe expecting a slow pan over a field, some birds chirping, I don't know.
Quiet dialogue scene to ease you in.
And instead, boom, the music just swells, the cut is aggressive, and you're in it. It catches you completely off guard.
And that's a great point because, it feels unnecessary in the best possible way.
Ah, right.
From a pure plot perspective, you don't need that big stylistic flourish. You don't need that musical sting just to go from one scene to another. But that's the franchise. That's why we love it.
It wakes you up.
It does. It's all about subverting the rhythm you think you're settling into.
Yeah.
It's the show telling you, don't get comfortable.
Don't look at your phone. Pay attention. Anything can happen. And that really brings us to our mission for this deep dive. We're not just here to recap the plot. Anyone can do that. We want to figure out why this episode, which is actually pretty short, packs such a huge emotional punch.
Right.
We're going to get into the smile factor. We need to break down the actual economics of Dunk's struggle. And we have to have a very serious talk about why watching this dubbed is a crime against comedy.
Oh, I am ready for that conversation. But it all comes back to character, doesn't it? The spectacle is great, but the reason this episode works is because we're feeling what they're feeling.
Okay, so let's start there. With that atmosphere, we both said it feels better than episode 1. For me, episode 1 was great, but it felt like it had a job to do.
It was functional.
Yeah. Set the table, introduce the guys, get the plot moving.
Right. Episode 1 is the menu. Episode 2 is the meal. And I want to ask you this. What was the main feeling you had while watching? Because when I was thinking about the tone, I noticed something really strange for a show set in Westeros.
It's funny you say that. This is where it gets really interesting for me. The usual tone of this universe is grim, dark. It's rainy betrayal and blood.
Yeah, misery, basically.
But watching this episode, I actually caught myself, I was smiling, like a genuine warm smile for probably 90% of the runtime.
That's a huge distinction. And it's not a mean smile, right? It's not the kind of smile you get when a villain gets what they deserve.
No, not at all. It was lovely. Is that a word we're even allowed to use for a George R.R. Martin story? It just felt wholesome.
It's a different flavor of fantasy.
Yeah.
It's intimate. And that emotional connection, it's not an accident. It's built on very specific choices. And I think we have to talk about the horse scene.
The horse scene. Oh, man. If you told me last week that the emotional high point of my week would be a guy standing in a stable, I would have laughed.
But here we are. It is a masterclass in show, don't tell. Let's just paint the picture for everyone. You got Dunk, this giant of a man. He has to duck to get through doorways.
He's physically imposing.
Totally. But then you put him in this small, rainy stable with his horses, Thunder and Chestnut.
And it's the contrast, right? He's so big, but he's so gentle with them.
Exactly. The camera just lingers on his hands. He's checking hooves, brushing their coats. In most fantasy shows, a horse is just a motorcycle with legs. You park it and walk away.
Right, you ride it into battle. If it dies, you get another one.
But here you feel the bond. More than that, you feel the vulnerability. He talks to them. They're his peers. In this huge, dangerous world, these two animals are pretty much the only family he has, besides Egg.
It strips away that whole knight persona. He's not a warrior in that moment. He's just a guy worried about his friends.
And it highlights the reality of his situation. If something happens to those horses.
He's done for. Game over. He's not walking to the next town.
And that's the show don't tell part. No one has to say, my horses are really valuable to me. We see the care he takes, and we understand everything implicitly.
It really stands out. It's those quiet moments that make the loud ones matter later. If you don't care about the guy and his horse, you won't care when the swords come out.
And speaking of expanding the world, we got a glimpse of some new houses.
Yes. The lore nerds had a good day. Seeing those banners, we're so used to Starks and Lannisters. Seeing these other families just fleshes out the world so much.
It reminds you, this is a living, breathing political landscape, not just a stage for one character.
Well, speaking of the main character, let's pivot to Dunk's journey in this episode, because Dunk the Lunk makes quite an entrance.
He does. It's a very unique introduction. It's not your standard hero shot.
No, it's not him riding over a hill with the sun at his back. It was, well, it was distinct.
And it says everything about his status. This is where the writing really shines for me. He's an underdog, sure, but we've seen that trope a million times.
Right. Usually underdog just means he hasn't gotten his magic sword yet.
Exactly. But here it hits harder because of the granularity of the economics. This episode hammers home the literal cost of knighthood.
That's such a huge part of it. It's the paperwork.
The logistics.
He has to sell a piece of his equipment just to eat.
Most fantasy heroes have, like, a bottomless coin purse. Dunk is counting coppers. His unique entrance isn't him riding in glory, it's him stumbling through the bureaucracy of a tournament.
It's so stressful to watch. Seeing him debate whether to sell something just to pay the entry fee, it makes it all so real. Who hasn't had to sell something to make rent?
It completely grounds the stakes. He's not some high lord with a safety net. If he fails here, he doesn't just go home to his castle, he starves.
And that financial terror leads right into the emotional terror at the end of the episode. I mean, we leave Dunk in a really rough spot.
It's a brilliant place to end. He's absolutely terrified.
He's freaking out. His output is gone. He spent the money. He sold his gear. And now he's just questioning every life choice he's ever made.
You see it on his face. Am I doing the right thing? Is this a huge mistake?
And that is so relatable. That's imposter syndrome, medieval edition.
It is. Right before the big presentation or the big game, you don't feel like a superhero. You feel scared. You question everything.
And because he's scared, because he thinks he might have dragged Egg into this giant mess, I'm just desperate to see what happens next.
The real threat isn't the tournament. It's his own self-doubt.
Okay, I want to shift gears a little bit to something more technical, but I think it's really crucial for anyone listening. We need to talk about language.
This is a hill I'm willing to die on.
Oh, boy.
You have to watch this show in the original English audio.
Okay. I get it. Dubs are convenient. Maybe you're doing dishes, you prefer your native language, whatever. But you're arguing it actually hurts the show.
It fundamentally breaks it. It's not just about the actor's performance, though that's huge. It's about the mechanics of the comedy. And humor is always the first casualty of translation.
You're talking about the kick joke.
I am talking about the kick joke. It's a perfect example.
Okay, so set the scene. What happens, and why does it fall apart if you're not listening in English?
All right, so a character is talking to Dunk's squire, Egg, and he says the line, "He used to call me stupid." And then he just stops. He trails off.
And Egg flinches. He physically winces.
He physically recoils. Why? Because he misunderstands the phrasing. In English, "He used to call me stupid" can be a complete thought. But Egg hears it as the setup. He's waiting for the because. He used to call me stupid, so he kicked me.
He's waiting for the verb. He thinks stupid is the cause, and the punishment is what's coming next.
Exactly. The entire joke lives in that silence. It lives in the squire's terrified anticipation of a foot swinging at him. The humor is the misunderstanding of the grammar.
But in a dubbed version, I've heard this about the Hindi dub specifically, the sentence structure is different.
It has to be.
Right.
In many languages, the grammar just doesn't work that way. The verb has to come earlier, or the sentence doesn't allow for that kind of ambiguous trailing off. So the dubbers have to change the line to make sense.
Which kills the joke.
It completely flattens it. The squire's physical reaction makes no sense. Why is he wincing? The line just comes across as a weird pause. You lose the character beat. You lose the humor.
You lose the math. Comedy is math.
It is timing plus expectation. You change the variables. The equation doesn't equal funny anymore. It just equals confusing.
So a public service announcement from the deep dive. Subtitles are your friend. The kick joke alone is worth it.
It really is. The plot is just two guys talk. The performance is a hilarious linguistic misunderstanding that reveals character history. You just can't dub that.
So all this amazing stuff packed into the episode, which brings me to my one complaint, my one gripe.
Let me guess. The runtime.
It was too short. I swear, I looked at the clock and it was over. It's what, 33 minutes? And if you take out the intro and credits, it's basically a tight 30.
It is short, for sure. Especially for a drama in this universe. But I would argue that's a positive sign.
How is less show a positive? I want more show.
You want more because your engagement level was through the roof. You felt it was short because you were entertained. If it was boring, 33 minutes would feel like an hour and a half.
That's the whole quality over quantity argument, I guess.
It is. There was no filler, no fat, just 30 minutes of pure, tight engagement. I'd rather have that than a bloated 50-minute episode that drags in the middle just to hit a quota.
That's fair. But man, when those credits rolled, I was like, no, give me more. Especially after seeing the trailer for what's coming next.
Oh, yeah, the preview for episode 3.
It looks crazy. The word peak is getting thrown around. I also saw the technical term kick-ass being used quite a bit.
It makes sense, though, structurally. Episode 2 was the build-up. It was Dunk getting to the starting line, dealing with all his fear, and making sacrifices.
And episode 3 is the release. It's when he finally gets his shot.
But remember where we left him. Terrified. Doubting everything. So when we go into episode 3, that tension is already sky high. We're not watching a confident warrior. We're watching a desperate man trying to survive.
It's going to be so intense. I can't wait.
So if we kind of synthesize all this, we're looking at an episode that succeeded by subverting our expectations. It brought warmth to a grim world. It deepened Dunk's character by showing his poverty and his fear, not just his strength.
And it used those quiet moments like the horse scene to build real empathy.
And it did it all in a super tight, efficient runtime.
Don't forget the horse.
Never forget the horse.
Yeah.
That bond is the heart of the show right now.
It really is. And it's impressive how they made us feel so good, that 90% smile rate, while setting up something that feels so incredibly dangerous.
So this raises an important and maybe slightly ominous question for me. And it's something for you, the listener, to think about.
Uh-oh. Here comes the reality check.
If episode 2 made us smile this much, are we being set up?
Oh, don't say that. Don't take this lovely feeling away from me.
No, think about it. We're in George R. R. Martin's world. We know who wrote these stories. If the show lets us feel good and wholesome for 30 minutes, is that a gift? Or are we just being lulled into a false sense of security?
You mean, are they fattening up the calf before the slaughter?
I think it's a distinct possibility. Comfort in Westeros is almost always a warning sign. Hope is the most dangerous weapon they have.
So the warm hug of episode 2 could be setting up the knife in the back in episode 3.
It could be. With Dunk so scared and the violence of the game is about to start, how long can that smile actually last?
That is a terrifying thought. I was so happy, and now I'm just anxious.
And that right there is the Game of Thrones experience in a nutshell.
Well, on that cheery, ominous note, I guess we just have to wait and see. Make sure your subtitles are on for the jokes, and brace for impact.
Indeed. Enjoy the ride, and prepare for that other shoe to drop.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.